お嬢様。
Hello my lords and ladies, Joe here. Continuing my series on the character creator, I will be going over the rundown of what happens when you finish customizing your character. First, we have your hard RP elements, starting with your birthday. No significance whatsoever. And I truly mean that. If you're expecting a birthday card from the delivery Moogle on your character's chosen date, don't get your hopes up. Just like in real life. Talk about immersion! So pick whatever you like. The calendar matches ours and they even let you see the real world corresponding day. The 32 days might throw you off, but it just means around the 28 to 30 mark, one of our days counts as two of theirs. Next, we have your patron deity. Again, this decision has no relevance gameplay-wise. However, I still recommend giving them a read-through for all that juicy lore. The 12 are the pantheon of the main religion of this game, so it's good to know who they are and what they represent. Each city-state has a patron deity as well, and you can find the symbols of the 12 all around Eorzea. Also, NPCs have a knack for invoking the names of their gods, or their titles in conversations. So read up so you don't feel like a clueless dote who keeps wondering who Thal is and why everyone is obsessed with his testicles. And in Endwalker, there will be a raid revolving around the 12, so who knows, maybe there will be actual significance to which deity you choose. Now we come to your starting classes. I'm going to be honest. How this is done is one of the worst game design decisions Final Fantasy XIV has made.
Torches! Get your torches! Pitchforks! Can't be an angry mob without pitchforks!
A relic from a realm reborn that desperately needs an update. These starting classes are not what your character is going to be playing as. At level 30, just like in the real world, you graduate from your class and become a responsible adult and get a job. Jobs are like prestige classes. And yes, you have to use them. Yes, I technically know you don't have to equip your job stone to queue in for a dungeon. No! You have to use them. End of story. The real issue is that the leap from your class to your job can be very different in terms of aesthetic. And just having the option to click the job button under the tire doesn't really explain anything. So what? Pugilist becomes a banana? Also, unlike some other games, which race you choose for which job is completely cosmetic. No one is going to question your choice to be a Rogadin white mage because your racials aren't optimized. Or boot you out of a raid because your stat alignment as a Lalafell warrior isn't top tier. This is a good thing, as it helps keep the community's toxicity levels low. All the races that I will be suggesting for jobs will purely be for those who are stumped about which race to pick and just need a little lore push to help them in the right direction for what they think might be their main job. Let's start out with Gladiator. Already, the presentation for this class is pretty deceptive on every level. The description is very misleading. No, you can't equip daggers. That's a completely different class. No, you can't opt for an empty offhand. You are the sword and shield guy. If you really don't want to carry a shield, you can glamour an invisible shield so it looks like you aren't carrying one, but that's as far as you go. Now gladiators become paladins, but even the name paladin is kind of misleading. In Final Fantasy XIV, paladins are less armored martial clerics so much as they are magic-wielding knights. The paladin order is the Sultana's elite guard. Again, more of a knighthood than a holy order. Paladins are tanks. In fact, they are the tankiest of tanks, thanks to their shield and the ability to protect other party members. Their durability makes them the healer's favorite. If you're looking for a gladiatorial race, the Highlander here and the Hellsgar Roganin are known for being sellswords. From a paladin's perspective, being the elite guard of Ul'dah would make the Dunes folk Lalafell a good choice. Next, Pugilist, a melee DPS. You want to be a brawler? Cool. Well, you become a monk, and monks are actually monks, meaning they have strong religious ties to the gods, specifically Ralgar, god of destruction. So if you were thinking that this was a barroom brawler or a gentleman boxer, you are mistaken. Monks are the class that are always on the move, because they need to be at a certain position around the mob to maximize their damage. If there is a monk in your party and the tank unnecessarily twirls the boss slightly, you can bet that they are going to remind him to keep it still. Because of how conditional the damage is, monks are notoriously bitter. Their job is always a bit janky, but their love for Kung Fu films and Dragon Ball Z means they'll never leave, no matter how bad it gets. Race-wise, Dusk-White Elezen are well known for being great pugilists. For monks, the job originated in the Highlander hero homeland, so they are the obvious choice. Marauder is the other tank class. They become warriors. It sounds kind of backwards going from Marauder to a generic sounding warrior, but that's just the way it is. They use two-handed axes, which, in poetic irony, attracts a certain type of player. I don't want to rain on warriors too much, but let me say that partying with them, I have become intimate with the phrase tank privilege. That's when you mess up a mechanic, but because you are a tank, it doesn't kill you outright. Warrior players are those who wanted to be DPS, but wanted to feel more superior as a more essential role with lower queue times. Or they found playing DPS with their complicated rotations too difficult. Unfortunately, this results in a player who talks about how good they are while getting one-shot by a tank buster. So if you pick a warrior, please learn your role as a tank. Marauders have strong ties to Seawolf Rogadin, and the warrior job was created by the Hellsguard Rogadin. The generic Lancer becomes the oddly specific Dragoon, one of the most iconic Final Fantasy classes. You start out with a lance, and then you end up fighting with the power of and to destroy dragons. So yeah, that could be quite the aesthetic leap. Dragoons are known as the floor tanks, meaning that they are prone to dying. This isn't helped by their mobile abilities having the unlucky side effect of flinging them into a death wall or off the side of an arena. Ironic that the class known for its easy rotation probably requires the most skill not to die. But who cares about dying when you look this good? From a Lancer perspective, Highlander here are well known for being Lancers. Dragoons come from the city-state of Ishgard, an Elezen nation, so that makes them the obvious choice for lore enthusiasts. Archer is probably the worst offender when it comes to starting expectations to where you end up. What job do you think an archer would end up as? A marksman sniper? A beastmaster ranger? No, they are bards. I guess that gives new meaning to string instrument. Bards are a party favorite, buffing teammates, helping them move faster between fights, and of course, playing all your favorite terms of service breaking tunes on street corners. The only people who don't like bards are other bards. Not only do their song buffs not stack with each other, but also the constant territorial disputes for the best performance spots. When it comes to bows, Elezen and Makote are the best lore picks. Conjurer is the sole healer for the starting classes, so if you really want those fast dungeon queues, this is your best bet. A Conjurer is a naturalistic healer who becomes a White Mage, which is a naturalistic healer. One of the more straightforward class to job transitions. White Mage players are known for being assholes, but they are the healer, so what are you going to do about it? Nothing, that's what, and they know it. So my advice to make your life easy, don't piss off the White Mage. For the nature-loving Conjurer, the forest elves known as the Wildwood Elezen would make the perfect choice. White Mages are usually Pajals, which are born Midlander here, so Midlanders are probably your best lore race for White Mages. Moving on to the first magic range DPS, the Thaumaturge. The Thaumaturge becomes the Black Mage. Much like the White Mage, it's just their starting class, but better. Black Mages are kind of the black sheep of the DPS family. Final Fantasy is known for its mobile combat, and what are Black Mages known for? Standing still. From an outside perspective, you see a Black Mage just casting away from inside a danger zone, and you just shake your head. Why don't they move? Don't they know how to do mechanics? Then you start playing a Black Mage, and you're 3/4 through your cast bar and you're about to get snapshot. And then the words leave your mouth. Words you never thought you'd use. But they came so effortlessly, almost as if it was a spell all on its own. Healers, adjust. Just know it takes extra skill to maintain optimal damage and avoiding death. Lalafells are well known for being the most associated with Black Mages. Now we have the most unique of all the classes, the magic range DPS, Arcanist. Arcanists become 2 jobs, not just 1. You can stay with the beginning theme of being a ranged DPS and go the summoner route, or you can become a healer and go scholar. And to be honest, both these jobs make sense in terms of progression. You start out Arcanist by summoning Carbuncle, so it makes sense that you would start summoning even stronger entities as you grow, like the Summoner does. And Scholar fits the scholastic theme of Arcanist, so aesthetically it fits together well. And they changed their pet to a cute little fairy who helps you heal. If you level one of these jobs, then you've leveled the other as well. This is cool until you realize that leveling actually helps you learn your job. So, if you've been exclusively playing Summoner and you want to give healing a shot, you should probably start reading all of your abilities, and run a few leveling roulettes to help you understand what's going on, and vice versa. And don't forget, there are separate job quests, so make sure you do them both as well. You can tell that the idea of branching jobs for classes was something they were toying around with, and it makes sense with the job stones. But I don't think they'll ever do it again. So long, my hopes of a tank pugilist job. It's probably for the best. With Endwalker, summoners are getting a complete rework, so I can't really give you an accurate portrayal on how it is to play them. The rework looks like it will finally justify a bit of the overinflated egos that summoner players have. Also, healers are getting subcategories, with Scholar going into direct competition with the newest job, Sage. So if you want to try out a shield healer, or want to be the unique butterfly that no one is going to be playing as, Scholar is for you. Unlike White Mages, Scholars don't seem to have an attitude problem. That's because they don't quite heal as well as White Mages, focusing more on preventative damage. So they are just trying their best to make you not wish that there was a White Mage in the party. When picking a race for the Arcanist, the 2 most scholastic races probably make the most sense lore-wise. These are the Midlander Hearer and the Dunes Folk Lalafell. For the jobs, both come from lost civilizations. The Summoners are from the Allegan Empire, so Midlander Hearer are probably the most common of choices. The Scholars come from the lost city of Nim, which is associated with Lalafell. In-game, there is 1 more class and many more jobs to pick from. So I suggest you do a little research to see what other possibilities might entice you. And remember, you aren't bound to 1 job, so you can play them all if you want. The choice is yours. But what is more essential to the game narrative isn't what class you start out as, but where you start out in. Each class is assigned a city to start out in, and each city has its own opening story. There is no essential starting zone, but if you don't care which job you start out as, I recommend picking one of the 3 that begin in Ul'dah. A Realm Reborn is very Ul'dah focused. You get to learn about the Brass Blades, the Sultana, the political environment, you meet Thancred earlier on, and it even affects the character dialogue all the way to the very end of A Realm Reborn. There you are! Now it's time for you to unlock the most secret and exclusive of jobs, the Subscriber. Do your rotation correctly by hitting that like and subscribe button. And your first job quest is to tell me which god you chose and your starting class in the comments below. I'll see you in the world of tomorrow.